Welcome to Virtual Pathfinder YouTube channel. This video is about the far side of the moon. It is based on a podcast available on all major podcast platforms. If you're interested in more detailed information, please check out Virtual Pathfinder on Patreon. There you can find an extended version of the podcast which goes into detail about the topics in this video. As a member, you can get benefits such as early access to YouTube videos, exclusive in-depth podcasts, community posts and member-exclusive material. Since the moon's orbital period around Earth is the same as its rotational period, which is 29.5 Earth days, we can only see one side of it from Earth. The far side of the moon is the lunar hemisphere that always faces away from Earth. It was not visible to humans until the first spacecraft flew around the moon in the 1950s during the Cold War space race. Since it is invisible from Earth, it appears more remote and inaccessible. Some refer to it as the dark side of the moon, which is a figurative description indicating the unknown as dark. A lot is unknown about the far side of the moon. The far side of the moon is more rugged than the near side, and it also has more craters. The reason for this difference is that the far side has not been affected by the same tectonic forces which have shaped the near side. The far side has fewer maria, which is the dark, smooth plains that are thought to be the result of ancient lava flows. Those areas are named as seas, for instance, the Sea of Tranquility. The far side of the moon is home to some of the largest craters in the solar system. The largest crater, the South Pole Aitken's Basin, is about 2,500 kilometers in diameter and 13 kilometers deep. About 18% of the moon's far side is actually visible from Earth over time, due to libration, which is a slow wobbling caused by several factors such as inclination of axis of rotation and the eccentricity of the moon's orbit. The first mission to the far side of the moon was the Soviet Union's Luna 3 spacecraft, which orbited the moon in 1959 and sent back the first images of the far side. In 1960, the Soviet Academy of Sciences published the first atlas of the far side of the moon. There have been several missions, mostly orbiters, some robotic and some were crewed. Only one mission has made a soft landing on the far side of the moon. The first crewed mission to the far side of the moon was Apollo 8, which orbited the moon in 1968. The astronauts of Apollo 8 were the first humans to see the far side in person. Missions sent to the far side of the moon are the Soviet missions Luna 3 in 1959, Zond 3 in 1965, the US Apollo 8 in 1968, the Indian mission Chandrayaan-1 in 2008, the US mission Grail in 2011 to 2012, the US Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter in 2009, the Chinese missions Chang'e 3 in 2013, Chang'e 4 in 2019. Then we have the Indian mission Chandrayaan 2 in 2019, Chinese missions Chang'e 5 T1 in 2019, and the Chang'e 5 2020. Then we have the US mission Artemis 1 in 2022. And finally, the Indian mission Chandrayaan 3 in 2023. The first soft landing on the far side of the moon was performed by China's Chang'e 4 spacecraft in 2019. The Chang'e 4 lander and its Yutu-2 rover are still operating on the far side of the moon. Let's have a look at the ongoing Chinese Chang'e 4 mission. Chang'e 4 is a robotic spacecraft mission in the Chinese Lunar Exploration Program of the CNSA. It is the first spacecraft to land on the far side of the Moon. The Chang'e 4 mission was launched on December the 7th, 2018, and it landed on January 3rd, 2019. The mission consists of a lander and a rover named the Jade Rabbit 2, and the rover is named U-2-2. The Chang'e 4 mission has been a success. The mission has made a number of important discoveries, and it is helping us to better understand the Moon and its history. The mission is also paving the way for future human exploration of the Moon. The Chang'e 4 mission is still ongoing. There are several upcoming missions that are planned to visit the far side of the Moon, including Chang'e 6 in 2024, which is a lander and a sample return capsule. Chang'e 7 in 2024, which is an orbiter and a lander. Artemis 2 in 2024, which is an orbiter. Artemis 3 in 2025, which is a lander and a crewed mission to the surface of the Moon near the South Pole. The far side of the Moon is a mysterious and fascinating place, and it will be explored further in the years to come.